Hello, and welcome back to Writing with Witches, where you get a plethora of witches this time talking about writing. Sort of. We're actually talking about social media marketing, which is gross, but it's necessary. But my name is Leona Urbanski. I'm a debut author with my first book coming out April 15th of this year, Fire Magic, book one of the Deathgate trilogy. I'm still nervous as fuck. And my co-host is...
I am Nicole Autumn. I am the author of the Secret Society series that is completed and fully out. And with us, we have a guest who we've had before on the podcast is Alex Pfeiffer.
Hello. Alex Pfeiffer. I am the owner of Alex Oriole Design, and so I do character illustrations and book covers, and also have another business with my husband where we do social media, which is, its own beast. So we can talk about that today.
Rawr.
Rawr.
Because it's a beast.
Seriously.
Oh, man. So.
Okay, real quick, before we get started though, Nicole, do you have any other book news?
The only book news I have right now is that I am re-editing the Secret Society series because it is going to be republished under my own ISBNs and under a new publishing house. So
We heard that.
He's real excited about it. That was my husband.
Love the support. Love the support.
Very supportive.
It's great.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I have for book news is re-editing. Okay.
I don't know if I can beat the support there.
Yeah.
But what I do have to offer
Yeah.
is I'm officially 20 chapters into the rewrite of Fey Touched. And we finally have the ISBNs so I can get Fire Magic started and actually start getting it on Goodreads for my wonderful ARC readers and beta readers if they feel like being so gratuitous as to leave me a review. But yeah, no, that's all I got. I'm still working on first drafts have been grad school. That's all I gotta say, right?
Yay!
It's a long time people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Any news from you, Alex? For you? From you?
Not really. It's my goal to have a first draft done by June. It's already March, and I haven't done much, so we'll see what happens. I work well on the deadline, so I'm sure it'll come out at some point. It'll be birthed.
Birthed? Birthed?
It is painful.
I'm just pregnant with it right now, so.
Oh yeah. God, I don't want to think about it that way. You know how many I have?
She's got a litter over there.
Oh, yeah, you're like a puppy. No, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm a wolf.
I guess.
I very much, so I have like a whole outline done and it was messy everywhere, so I did at least organize it and it's in one piece and I can break it down from there. So
hell yeah.
It'll get there.
Nice.
It'll get there. Yeah. Very excited.
So, should we jump into
Back to you guys.
Jump into today's episode. Oh my gosh. The words are fumbling already.
Words are hard. We forgot.
I was gonna wear my shirt.
Dang it.
Next time.
Dang.
I literally laid it out on my bed.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to see my shirt anyway because I'm in the basement. I have a sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, since we're talking about social marketing media, Social media marketing.
No,
That's
social
what it is.
media marketing.
I told you, my brain is shot. I just got done working out not too long ago, so you would think I would be a little bit sharper, but no, I am not.
Mind and body are ready to rest.
Yes, very much so.
Or what, 3.5 hour D&D session earlier? Yeah, we're all a little brain dead.
Yeah.
After getting
So
demolished.
literally.
Sorry, you need to finish your sentence. Sorry.
So there's like, oh, excuse me, the 5, well, I guess technically there would be 6 types of social media. You have Instagram, which is typically pictures and short form. They don't really do long form media. And then you have Facebook, which can kind of be all of them. Twitter, which I guess if I do that, I don't know if Twitter even how to.
Oh, I mean, sorry, X. My bad. I wrote the outline.
With that weird ass dude over there. And then you have Blue Sky, which I think would be similar to Twitter or X, which is more like words, like small snippets of writing. You can do pictures, you can do short format videos, but it's kind of hit or miss. As well as TikTok, which is mainly short form. It's like 10 minutes or less, I believe.
And you have YouTube.
We forgot YouTube.
And YouTube, yeah, which would be your long form content. So, yeah, there's a whole array that you can do, and there's different types.
And it's funny because as a personal consumer, you probably have a preference for one or two. You probably don't doom scroll across all 6 of these. Like, I know I'm an Instagram and Facebook and YouTube person. Like, I put TikTok at the bottom of that list because I never think about it.
Yeah. Right.
See, yeah.
But as someone that's putting content out there, you either need to try to hit all of them, which is what Writing with Witches is attempting to do, or you need to try and do some studies on who your demographic is and where you think they're going to be looking for your content.
Yeah.
Going off of that, if you're trying to figure out what that means, or if you want a tip on that, is to go out and post everywhere, post the same stuff, and then see. So each platform is now very intricate in giving you details about your content. So it tells you when, it'll give you graphs and everything, when people stopped watching, how long they watched for, where they watched, and all of that, and when they interacted. And you can use that data to then say, okay, how could I either make this video better? Everybody's swiping away after 3 seconds. What at that 3-second mark is not catching their attention? What could I change so they last longer? Matt, my husband, and I, will play with videos, and we'll take one video and change it like 5 or 6 times to meet the criteria based off the data we get, and then we'll repost it and see how well it does. And then once we see some performance hit the levels that we're looking for, we'll then say, okay, well, TikTok did not like this video. Instagram really did like this video. And you don't have to go as in depth as that, but it definitely helps seeing what actually is occurring. So for a long time, I thought, okay, my demographic is going to be females of this age in this area. And then when I played around with it, it ended up being a little bit different than what I imagined it would be. So understanding, like, I can know so much, and then this can tell me what I need to know to adjust is super helpful. But I also suggest to people, post where you're most comfortable, post everywhere at first, and then where you get the most engagement, and when your videos consistently hit engagement numbers that you want to see, stick to those certain platforms. So like for us, YouTube does really well. Facebook is our best performing app, which was shocking to me. Like going into this, if you told me a few years ago that Facebook would be it, I I wouldn't have agreed with you, because back then I was even like, Facebook is dead, nobody's on there, nobody's gonna be interested. And that's where like everybody is for some of our content. So we've dropped a few platforms to basically focus on the ones that do well. So it doesn't have to be so overwhelming. You can let the apps do the work for you in terms of data.
It's actually really
I mean,
smart.
we've done that to a certain point with Writing with Witches because we never went on X and we've pretty much dropped TikTok from our posting at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
TikTok did not like us at all. Like, I was getting 1 to 0 views on 90% of the videos. I'd get one that would get like
Yeah.
maybe 30 or 40, and I'm like, what the hell? So at that point,
Yeah.
I've tried periodically like jumping back on and trying videos and seeing what happens. Still nothing. It's like flatline dead. So I'm like, they're out to get us. No, I'm just kidding. So I've just like dropped TikTok at this point.
And it doesn't help that their algorithms change so frequently, especially TikTok, every time it's being purchased. Not only like just a normal company is going to change their algorithms to like have the best performance or whatever, but then every time someone new buys it, they have their own ideas.
Yeah.
And so it's nearly impossible. It's just this like huge guessing game that as a creator you have to try and figure out, and it's ridiculous sometimes. So that definitely doesn't help that each platform has its own, and then you have to figure out each one and then mitigate each one and make sure each video hits. So it's, you will do the best where you feel most comfortable and where you get the most engagement, and that's what matters, is that there are people there. So
yeah.
I did want to touch on something that you mentioned, and it's a little bit of a tangent, but I'm curious. You said you will take the same video and put out 5 to 6 different versions of it. How are you doing that? Are you like editing it differently? Or are you getting different angle? What do you mean when you're saying you're putting out 5 to 6 different versions of the same video?
yeah, so our process is we'll come up with an idea or a concept, we'll record everything, we'll edit it, and then usually we'll post like one time and we'll see how it, maybe even twice. So at the editing stage, we'll finish like one draft of it, if you will, and then we'll watch it and we'll say, okay, is there a hook? Is there something that's engaging? Is there something that catches our attention? Because sometimes we'll create videos and there is like a lull, but the lull adds context to the whole video, but sometimes it's just enough where people don't even care to finish the video. So it's playing around with it, cutting out that, having engagement instantly. So we'll take that same video, we'll record everything, be done with it, and then have the actual clips, and we'll mess around with them, or we'll change them a little bit, or we'll make one section go a little bit faster so we can get to the end result quicker. Just like little touch-ups, just to play around with it. It just kind of depends, but usually that's what we're doing. Usually the beginning part is the most important for the engagement.
That's interesting.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. Matt gets really, like, I kind of do, but at some point I'm like, I'm done with this video. I don't want to look at it anymore. And Matt's like, I'm going to get it down to the wire. I'm going to get everything perfect.
Well, good for him. I mean, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah. And understanding the platforms, but once you understand two, like you guys said, 2 or 3, just go with that.
Nice. So when you're deciding ultimately where you figure it out, where you're going to market, you kind of then will have to narrow down what kind of marketing you're doing. So say YouTube and your long form content is doing really well. So maybe you focus on doing that long form content and doing your advertising through that, or, you know, there's short form. So maybe it's doing well on Instagram and TikTok, or even images. So maybe you are getting more for your images on Instagram or Blue Sky. So you have those 3 formats that you can really work with and figure out, okay, well, which one's working best for what social media platform. There we go. Got it out. My allergies
Yeah.
are killing me. It stinks.
One thing I will say when it comes to the formats, like I said, it's kind of like a science when you think about it, just experimenting with things and seeing what works. And for a long time, I did see like, okay, well, this failed and this succeeded, but it really is like you would, as a scientist, just be like, oh, this is just more information for me to do better and to change things in the future. But one thing that I try and advise, and I've done for a while, or it just kind of transitions, but one thing that I have found helpful in the past is to take um, your content and to break it into pieces so that way you can sit down and batch everything together and then use pieces for everything. So I would sit down and I'd make a long form video. I'd post that to YouTube. I'd take clips of it, make a short form video, and then I'd take pictures from that and then I'd post those as well. So you're hitting all three marks at one time. You don't have to think about each one, but you can just break it down and you have everything done at once. So that way it makes it easier. And then you can see, oh, when I talk about this subject, everybody likes the long form content of it. Or if I talk about this subject, they only like my short form. And then you can play around with that.
It's actually smart. I mean, we do the same thing. We do the podcast and then we pull clips from it and post it on platforms. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but being able to see basically which one's doing well on different platforms is really helpful.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to throw this in there because I forgot to put this in, is hashtags and seeing what, because Instagram just recently limited you to 5 hashtags per post. So
And
figuring
TikTok.
out,
Yep, TikTok
oh,
did
did
the
it?
same
I
thing.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So figuring out what hashtag to put in that will attract or get you into searches and for you pages, because I know we had one of our Instagram videos blow up stupid high, and it was because we were talking about Kevlar vests.
Yeah.
And the other one that's I know that was stupid.
Crazy. It was so out of nowhere.
And then the last one that's blowing up recently hit double our normal was the one about Supernatural. And I'm like 99% certain it's because I put the Supernatural tag in there.
Nice.
So it came
Yeah.
across the Supernatural girls.
Yep. Making sure you pick the
So,
most
yeah.
relevant tags, but also that makes sense. So you want to be seen,
Yeah.
but it also has to make sense to what you're talking about. Because I've seen videos where they'll just put the most random tags on there, and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? So it can skew your results and your analytical data on who's seeing your stuff, because you got so many videos or so many views from people that you aren't really your target audience. So you may be getting the views, but you may not get like the interaction and the engagement that you're looking for.
That reminds me. So I'll kind of give you an example. We have a friend who's been doing social media. He got viral off of one of his videos. Essentially, his whole shtick is that he just like sits down. He's like, I'm gonna post every day until I get out of debt, and which
Okay.
is like great. But then he wanted to shift his what he's doing into sim racing, and he has about like 100,000 followers that came from the original niche, and he wants to shift it, but it is, and we've talked to him about this, it's like an uphill battle because the algorithm is not only attuned to what you interact with, but what your followers interact with. And so if your followers all like this niche and you want to change it, or you don't have really a niche, your followers are a direct indicator of how much engagement you're going to get.
Okay.
So his racing content gets 0 interaction, but if he posts something for like him getting out of debt, that content is engaged with. So not that most people are going to be shifting their niches, but it kind of gives you an idea that the followers and what they're doing when it comes to interacting with your page is very valuable. So if you have a bunch of followers that came from like your supernatural posts, like you're saying, they're not going to engage with any of your book content. The algorithm is going to not know where to push your content to because they're going to say, well, all these people watch their content, but there's no one definite answer. So then you'll hit like a low of engagement. But I mean, there's always like a little bit of fluctuation, but kind of playing that to your advantage of being really on the niche, which I think you guys do with your podcast. Like, obviously, it's literally writing with witches.
Yeah.
But like hitting the niche on the head is, it seems repetitive. And for me, for a long time, I was like, I don't want to keep talking about this kind of stuff. But it'll get to new people and it'll let the algorithm build from where you're at instead of like outwards, if that even makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's algorithm loves consistency.
Right.
That's like we talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, the consistency and not just in everything, like in what you're posting, how you're posting, when you're posting. It that the more consistent you are, the more favored you are with the algorithm.
Right. The easier you can make its job, the more engagement you'll get.
I was just thinking, yes, we must bow down to the algorithm.
The algorithm, God.
Gain
Yeah.
favor. Yeah. It can be a pain in the ass, but man, once you figure it out,
Right.
and there are some people that can figure it out to a T, where they're like, we need to post it exactly at this time because this is when our target demographic is on, and this is when we know we get the most engagement. Some people get it down pat. I mean, I remember talking to someone that did gaming content, and she was like, yeah, our target demographic is like high schoolers because it was a very popular game amongst high schoolers. So I'm assuming she was playing like Fortnite or something like that. So she was like, I have to post around 3:30, which is around the time kids get out of school. So that's when they're going to start looking on their phones, and our stuff will be the first that they see. So I was like, damn, like she really figured that shit out. So yeah, once you figure out those algorithms and how to work your content and when, hopefully the algorithm favors you and pushes it for you.
Right. I don't know if you guys have access to, because it's a rare feature that Instagram allows, but trials.
Huh.
No.
Has it given
Not
you
that I'm
that
aware
yet?
of.
I haven't gotten it on like my accounts, but on Matt's account he has. And so what the trials do, that Instagram, it's through Instagram. It pushes the video out to anyone but your followers. So your followers will not see the video. So that way it can engage outside of that and then bring more followers in, and then you can share it to your followers after that. So we'll post the same video multiple times throughout different times of the day and see which one engages best. We'll delete the other ones and then we'll share that to our followers once it gets traction. So that's another way to like figure out how, like when to post and how to post.
Huh.
And something that you need to think about with this as well is the time of yours that is consumed in this, not only in the rough boarding, the storyboarding, the rough draft, the editing, the final putting out of it, but also like you said, you post this thing 5 or 6 times a day. You monitor to see what gets engaged with. Then you still have to go through the effort of going and deleting the old ones before pushing it out too. So just keep in mind, if you're looking at getting into social media marketing, it is a lot of work. I know, and I'm fairly certain Nicole will agree with me on this, that neither of us could do what we're doing alone because we're both posting multiple times a week. She's pulling the clips, I'm editing the long form, and I'm working a 9 to 5 and she's a stay-at-home mom. So we're both fitting all of this work into little slots of time. I can't speak for Alex because I don't know exactly how your time schedule works, but just it's a lot of time that is sunk into this. And you have to understand that a lot of it until you, like you said, you figure it out. A lot of it's chance. And you
Yeah.
have to
Right.
accept that a lot of your stuff isn't going to be engaged with.
Yeah, that, so just some of my background, I basically did like social media content and posting for like 8 years. Um,
Whew.
and I had it on my personal account and, it was a lot. And I got really burnt out of it and like deleted my account, took all my followers off, because I was just so done with it. But it took a long time and starting up this new social media account with Matt that I had to learn, especially with how detailed Matt is with the algorithm and how all these like data points work, that it is not a personal reflection of how good I am or my content is. Like, oh, it wasn't like, oh, I'm not good enough and no one's engaging with me, so something must be wrong with me or along that thought process. It's very much chance. It's very much not about you. It's not a personal thing. And, it's a game. It's all just like another kind of video game.
Yeah.
And some people like spending their time playing that kind of game. And for me, like since I've been so burnt out from it, I'm like I will be strategic and decide when I will play. Um, but yeah, it's definitely not like a personal reflection ever of you or when you're posting because that doesn't that's not involved in the data points of the game.
Yeah.
The game doesn't
All
matter.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there is that chance that you do sink in all this time, right? And time is an investment, and you may not see the return
Right.
at all. So, you also have to make that decision of how much time am I going to spend on this knowing that I may not see the numbers I want or see the engagement that I want or I'm not getting my book because ultimately that's we're authors, right? So we're talking about pushing our
Right.
book and our brand and stuff. So you may be making these videos and hoping that your books get seen or whatever, or you get seen, and it may not happen. And then you may get lucky that one time and it gets pushed to the right person, and you blow up. That would be great. But that's like such a long shot. So you do have to sit down and think, okay, well, how much time am I going to sink into this? And sometimes it may not be worth it. So you kind of have to do that toss up of your time versus social media. Because you could get lost in doom scrolling too. And sometimes
Right.
I know some algorithms, which I think why TikTok is so bad, um, they don't like people that have accounts that don't interact with other accounts. So if you have a post and you're posting all the time, it doesn't matter because if you're not interacting with other people on the platform, they're not going to push your stuff, which is why I think my personal account does better as an author than our Writing with Witches account because I still will scroll on my personal and interact with other authors and books and stuff like that. So the algorithm also may depend on you interacting with your peers or other things on the app. So that's also something you have to think
Right.
about too.
Yeah, you can't post and ghost. I would say
I,
that
I sometimes
when
forget that I'm on the Writing with Witches Instagram and I'm sitting there scrolling and I'm like, oh, like. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the wrong account and I have to switch over to my personal account.
But that might be why we're getting good numbers on some of these videos where all of a sudden they shoot up because
Right.
you are engaging with other content.
Right.
Yeah, I need to do that more,
So,
I guess.
Yeah, do it more. I would say with that time just being okay if you're not going to put in so many hours, if you're just going to you choose what works best for you, just be okay with that. Just be okay with whatever results come. If it's great, then great, but it is a lot to ask and um like don't be hard on yourself if you're not doing enough because what you're giving is more than enough and yeah.
did a ghost tug
I was
on your
gonna
hair or
say
something?
No, Hector's
Why?
tail.
Oh,
oh that I was like what is going on?
I saw you like moving and
I
I'm
leaned
like,
back.
Like
there a ghost over there bothering
Sorry.
you? Sorry, go
No,
ahead,
it's
Alex.
Hector was being obstinate.
I was like instantly scared for you, and I was like, oh
I mean,
no.
we're pretty sure we've seen ghosts on this side of things before. That cabinet is still open, by the way.
From the cat. Or so we thought it was the cat.
Right.
Oh. Oh yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. The way I think about it, if like all of the apps want everybody to be on there, everybody to stay, everyone just to stay on there as long as possible. Whether you're the creator, whether you're the consumer, how can you stay on there as long as possible? And unfortunately, as the creator, you do have to think, how can I get people to interact with me for as long as possible so that way your content works? How can I? So that's why people post things that are like super crazy and everybody's going to have a discussion on and just like super out there. They know it's going to bait everybody into commenting. So you could play with that. You can be chaotic about that, or you can be just like, what's your opinion on this? And just be kind of general. But how you get people to engage? Are they going to comment? Are they going to like? Are they going to want to share this post with other people and be like, oh my gosh, look at this? Or the emotional posts that make people like, oh, I relate to this so much and have that humanite, so they share it to their story and share it to their friends. Those are the things I think about. Do people want to comment on this? Do people want to share this? What would make them want to do that? And if the answers are no, then I probably won't post that, and I'll edit it until I can get to that point.
Okay. Just thinking with your noggin.
Yeah, you gotta have to. I feel like I'm so, because I'm also of the point, like personally, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I delete it off my phone. And so when I do have to spend time on there, you like, you know how it can affect you, like this doom scrolling. I mean, we all do it.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, I feel kind of bad being like, okay, I'm gonna make you guys doom scroll with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna like rope you in. Sorry, I'm gonna bring you into the app for longer, but you kind of have to play that game.
Yeah. Well, that would bring us to our witchy tip, which is sigils. Um, I've mentioned sigils before, simply with like, I think it was like when we were mentioning glamour magic, using sigils with like
Mhm.
lotion and then rubbing it in, which you can create your own sigils by, oh, there's like a whole process of like writing out what you want from it, crossing out all the repeat letters and your vowels, and then creating like a number chart. And you could do that. I've never liked the sigils I have come up with doing it that way. I've always thought they were but ugly. They just look like a bunch of scribbly lines, and I'm like, this does not feel like this would mean something for me. So you can find pre-made sigils on like Pinterest and stuff like that. So sorry. Yeah, sigils. Now I have to turn my phone off. So sorry.
Oh, I can't hear it. Yeah, I like using sigils. There's this witch I follow on Instagram who will post about some, and I really like hers. I resonate with hers the most. And I'll just like write it on my arm. Um, and then I can look at it throughout the day, and it's just like a nice reminder, something different to see, to help me remember either my goal, or like sometimes I'll do it for protection and I'll just feel more comforted by it, or whatnot. So I like doing that.
I think
And
that's a good
another
idea.
way you can use them, it is a good
Sorry, go
idea.
ahead.
No, it's fine. Another way you can use them, if you are wanting to put protection in a room and you're planning on painting that room anyway, paint the sigil first in the same color
Uh-huh.
you're going to
That's
paint the
smart.
room with. Let it dry so you know you get that intent in there, and then finish painting the room. And no one's ever going to know the sigil was there, but you
You
know it's
will.
there, and you know the
Okay.
protection and the intent was there. And
That's
another way
cool.
is if you're doing a spell jar, putting it on a
Yeah.
piece of paper and putting it in the spell jar. Or maybe there's a reason you need to release it. You're using it to help you release it. You can do Alex's favorite element and burn it.
Yeah.
I'm a fire sign, so everything I do, I like to burn everything.
Also, if you can also do it like on your windows when you're cleaning, so you can spray it and then clean it off and stuff like that. I've seen that done.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah,
want to do like protection or abundance or whatever, yeah.
it's not about how visible it is to people. It's about the intent you're putting into it
Yeah.
and that you know it's there.
True that.
Intent is everything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hashtag true that.
True that. Was there anything else anyone could think of on sigils? My brain is coming up empty.
Those are some good tips.
Yeah. So hopping back into social media marketing, got it right that time. We're gonna start talking about the frequency and how much you're posting. So you also have to decide how often are you going to post. And sometimes the algorithm may want you to post every day. Sometimes it will be better if there's like every other day. So figuring out how often you're going to post will also help set those data points that Alex was talking about for you to look at and really see when and what time works. There we go.
Mhm. Yeah, saturating everything as fast as you can and as quickly as you can will give you the data faster, obviously, and it'll build that foundation for you. Um, if you can do that, that's great. If not, just do what you can. Just some sort of consistency so that way the computer recognizes that you're on there and it can get some information from you is great. So some people swear by posting every day at first until they get to a comfortable spot. That's worked for us. Some like I've also done like twice a week. That's also worked as long as it's consistent where new followers can find you. So if it's too rare, if it's every few months, then they can't find you. So it's enough for people to find you, but then also for your followers to know that they can trust there's something coming to them, even
Yeah.
like subconsciously. So whatever times you want to do would work.
I think that covers it. I don't have anything to add there.
Yeah. Then you also have to think maybe about oversaturation. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there that are posting multiple times a day. I don't know who has time for that.
I can tell you.
Who?
I have when I put this in the outline, I had one specific account in mind, and that is Cell Sword Arts. They have stated this. They post 5 to 6 videos a day on the platforms. And I will be
Wow.
honest, I love Cell Sword Arts. I love the
Yeah.
stuff they do. I love the content they put out. But some days I'm just like, oh my God, not again.
Yeah.
And skip past their videos because it is just so much and they're doing so much. And they have actually just come out recently saying that they are going to be doing some changes with that and they're going to be doing some different forms of content and cutting down a little bit on the short form content. But at the same time, I'm also just like, as a consumer, I love Cell Sword Arts. They're a great I love what they did. They introduced me to Instructor Bensai and I already knew about Bloomneck. They introduced me to the Ben Max RPG that's coming out. But I had some days and I hate missing out on my favorite creators' content because as someone that has been on this side of the line, I know how important it is to get engagement and to
Yeah.
get getting it consumed. So I feel horrible, but some days I'm just like, I can't, not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny now that you say that, I did after watching a few of the videos, I think on Instagram, they started coming across my feed consistently. Multiple times. I'm like, damn, how many videos do they have? So yeah, now that you mention it, I can see that. So maybe oversaturation isn't necessarily the best plan. You'll get seen, you'll get engagement, but whether or not those will be long-term followers that will stick with that amount of content coming in every day is a toss up. And that's
Yeah.
something you'll have to decide on.
I have 2 points to that. Um, One, I think it's good to look at social media as kind of like a life cycle. It's like with the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. You have all the phases, right? And so I think at the beginning, oversaturation can be beneficial for you when it comes to posting like that every day. And then once you get to that next stage, you got to pivot and you got to start doing things for the people you have and your followers so that way they stay engaged because you could have a million followers, but if they're not engaging with you, that doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
making sure your followers are valued and you're engaging with them is most important. So I tell Matt all the time, I'm like, okay, we're hitting a stage, we need to pivot. We've hit that goal, that like part, we need to start adjusting how we post to move forward. So there is that part of it. So it's not like whatever you're doing, you should not be doing forever. You should always be changing. So that point, and then the second thing to oversaturation, have seen a lot of creators, and some have even reached out to us and they're like, how are you growing? Because I've been posting every day for 5 years and I have hardly any followers. How are you getting, videos seen and stuff? And we'll go look at their accounts, and while either they post every day or maybe they post like every few weeks or whatever their consistency is, their oversaturation problem is coming from the type of content they're doing.
Okay.
So they'll post the same type of video, so like the same meme with different titles each time. So it's
Yeah.
like, as a follower, I'll see your meme, I think it's funny, I like it, I'll follow you. But then the same meme is popping up, you have a different caption on it the second time, and then I'm seeing it again or I'm seeing it again. That doesn't make me want to stay a follower. That doesn't want to make me stay engaged with you or account at all.
Yeah.
And so type of saturation is hurting you, and then I want to leave. So that I think is one harmful way. If you like don't change things or have a reason for people once they do follow you to stick with you, then I think that can kill your account faster than anything.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I I think one example of a creator pivoting, like you were talking about, it's kind of they're doing the opposite of oversaturation right now. Is Sophia Nygaard, and she has over 10 million viewers on YouTube. No longer posts on a regular basis, but
Yeah.
she will drop a post like once month, every other month, and I will still go immediately watch it because she posts usually 45-minute to an hour-long video, and it's really fascinating content, and they spent hours and hours putting into it, especially the travel videos. So she has definitely reached that butterfly stage where they're putting
Yeah.
a lot of effort into this. She also has so much passive income coming in from her old videos, because I know as
Yeah.
one of her followers, if I need white noise in the background, I'll just throw on her channel and just let her
Yeah.
videos play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that's a good point because once you get to that butterfly stage, you're more focused on the quality of the content than the quantity of it. So
Exactly.
now that you have those followers that you know are going to come back and watch time and time again, you can really focus on, okay, well, now I don't have to worry about posting as much. Now I can just really put all the effort into the quality of it. And like you said, they're fascinating videos. So you end up sitting there watching the whole thing and you're engaged and you interact or comment or whatever, liking their videos. So yeah, that's essentially that she's at a great spot at that point. And that's where we all
Right.
strive to be.
right.
Right.
So
That's like
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Being able to focus on quality, even because as a creator, you are doing something that's very artistic, and being able to put that like time and care into something and people will actually engage in is really great receiving that back. Because at the big, like I've put so many hours. I used to do editorial photo shoots, and I'd spend like 20 hours on a photo. I'd post the photo, and I wouldn't get a lot of engagement, and I'd
Ooh.
be like, oh, just like right in the heart. So as an artist, being able to have that appreciation of like I put all this time in and the quality, and I'm going to be able to receive like some sort of like compensation for it, feels good. So at that point, it's just so comfortable and nice.
Yeah. Um Also, you have to think about pleasing the algorithm. Uh and like Alex has said, it changes from platform to platform on how it works. Like TikTok, for a great example, it, like you said, it changes every time it changes hands. And you know, it used to be one of the best algorithms to be on. It was very easy to get
Right.
seen in the right niches, in the right corners. Like, they had it down to a pat. But now, because it has been sold and swapped and things going on with the government regulations and all that shit, the algorithm is awful. Not to
It's
mention,
truly terrible.
depending on what you write, you may have to worry about censorship issues. And I know everyone says we live in a free country and there we don't have censorship issues. Baloney. Yes, we do. There is censorship issues. So there is, I mean, we've seen people talking and having to censor their words and saying, instead of saying murder, they're saying unalive. So that
I
right
hate
there
that
is
so much.
it's not great. But that is a form of censorship. They know that they can't say certain words, so they have to censor themselves in order for your videos to be seen. So keep that in mind too when we're talking about pleasing the algorithm. There will be certain words you can and cannot use, certain images you can and cannot use. So you have to really consider that when you start your social media marketing, and what's going to capture the attention of readers or your followers, what's going to please the algorithm, what's going to get the point across. There's so many things coming together, and a lot of it ultimately at the end of the day you're like, well, if the algorithm doesn't like it, it doesn't matter what I put out because it's not going to get seen.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Right.
Delete it and repost.
Yeah. We have to please our algorithm overlords.
I refuse to bow,
Sacrifices to them.
which is
You're like,
probably
I
why I'm
bow
not
to
doing
no
very
man.
well.
I bow to no algorithm. um, we did talk about this, and you have to think about regularity, um, and posting on a regular basis, however that may be. Maybe it is, you know, like Sophia Nygaard, where it is once every a couple months. That would be great. You're in a good spot. Congratulations. Maybe you decide you're going to post 2 times a week, once a week. It's all up to you and what you think you can handle, because it can get very overwhelming very quickly. Um, so do keep that in mind. And also, if you are getting overwhelmed, you still have to make sure you're delivering. If you say you're going to be posting every day, you gotta have to keep with that, or it's going to mess with your data points and all this stuff. So don't overwhelm yourself, but also stay with it and be regular. So this is where you kind of have to look at your own capabilities and stress levels and mental well-being and time to see how well
Time
this
is
is
the
going to
biggest
go.
one.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that's a single word. It sums it up for me is time. Just being able to, like, as coming from personal experience right now, I'm so burnt out. I'm taking the entire month of March off from any extracurricular activities that are for myself. Is that part of the social media? No, there's a lot of other factors, but I'm not going to say that social media marketing isn't a part of it. And
Yeah.
I'm not even doing the social media marketing for my book. I should be doing a lot more for my book right now, and I'm not doing it. Like, the only marketing I'm doing right now is for Writing with Witches, which is really actually very easy thanks to Nicole, but I'm still burnt out on a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So if you're finding yourself to get to that point, find a way so you don't get to the point that I'm at where you're just done.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to find
Well, you
ways
can
to.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you can also see it as like seasons as well. You know, it doesn't have to be the same the whole time. Like I always try and give myself that grace, kind of like nature does with winter, and everything calms down and is quiet for a while, and then it can all work back up the energy for summer. And so sometimes I'm just like, it's just kind of my winter phase, even if it is literally in the middle of summer. But I'm like, personally, I need to like hibernate for a bit, get my energy back up, and then come back out. And the nice thing, as hard as social media is, the nice thing is you'll always have a second chance or third chance or fourth chance. The algorithm isn't gonna be like, oh, you didn't come here on Tuesday. It's just gonna be like, oh, we're gonna restart. We're gonna have a fresh slate. We're gonna try again. Here's more data points. And then that's what you do, and you give it what it wants, and you feed it, and then you're good.
Yeah.
The other thing that is nice about
Yeah.
the other thing that is nice about social media too is if you don't delete your account and you come back to it, people don't tend to unfollow accounts.
No.
I'm like one of the rare people that does go through my accounts periodically. Like I filter through my friends on Facebook periodically and delete people, but most people don't. So if you come back and you start posting again, you're probably still going to have roughly the same amount of followers.
Right. The only time you lose followers is if you're really annoying with oversaturation.
That, or you have some really bad takes out of nowhere.
You get canceled.
Yeah, you get canceled for something crazy. Like, yeah, I used to do a knitting podcast back when, 2016, 17, 18 time frame. I had a channel that had over 1,000 followers. It's now just dipped below that, where it's like, oh, you have 998 now. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know people were still following this account, but okay.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, you make a good point. Most people don't unfollow accounts. They just continue to accumulate them. Like,
right.
So, yeah, if you decide like, hey, I need to take a break, and honestly, being honest with your followers could bring that authenticity. Like, hey, I'm burnt out. I'm taking a break from social media. So if you guys don't see anything from me for a while, that's why. And, people relate to that. People relate to being burnt out. We live in a time of chronic burnout. So being able to say that and be authentic about it, people will be like, damn, that's pretty like cool that they were open about that, instead of just disappearing and everyone's like, where the hell did they go? So when you do come back, they'll probably be more receptive, like, oh my gosh, you're back, like, great, hope you're doing better. Like, yeah. So sometimes just being that your authentic self, and being open about having that burnout, people can relate to that.
Speaking of that, I remember following this chick. I really loved her content. She was like aesthetically very beautiful, like all the stuff she posts. She's like, hey, I'm taking a break. I think I stayed following her, and I would just like check up maybe like once a year. And I stayed following her for like 2 years. And then she came back, and I'm like, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
Not that it was like super top of mind, but I just still followed her. Because I'm like, yeah, you're really cool. Thanks for telling me,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true. It happens.
So, I believe that brings us to the end of our social media marketing, and would bring us to book reviews. Which, I'll be honest, I don't have one this week. I do not have one this week, because the books I've been reading have just been not holding my attention. Oh my gosh, and you have 2! You're overcompensating for me. It's almost like you knew.
That's how we'll look at
it. You knew I wasn't going to have one.
Alex, if you had one, if you wanted to give one, or it's up to you. Ooh, if you don't have one, that's totally fine. I don't expect one from you. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Well, then, okay.
It's all yours.
We'll root you on.
So, I'm combining these two because I'm trying to get through all of this YA fiction so that I can move on to other things in the book review podcast. You all quit getting bored with it. So I read 2 books by Felix Salten, Forest World and Bambi's Children. So in case you didn't know this, the Disney movie Bambi is based on a book by Felix Salten, Salten. And he is a very prolific author. He wrote a lot of books. I'm basically finishing up his bibliography with these 2 books.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It's taken a while.
It's taking a hot minute.
So Bambi's Children is exactly what it says it is. The two little pawns that you see at the end of the movie Bambi are the featured characters in Bambi's Children. And
Wow.
it's their story of growing up, their first year, basically.
Oh.
And then in Forest World is basically a year spent in the same forest as Bambi, but you don't you have different characters. And you also have characters from like the gamekeeper that lives on the edge of the forest.
Hmm.
Um Here's the thing about Felix Sultan. Is he wrote these books. I'm trying to get the exact time because we all know how bad I am at time. He originally wrote these books in the early 40s.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
So these are World War One veteran, is what we're talking about. I
Okay.
don't
Okay.
remember if he actually served, but he lived through, and he is European, I think. Like 99% certain he was European.
That tracks.
My suggestion, if you are interested in reading Felix Sultan, is trying to find an edition that was published before the 2000s. Because one of his books I picked up twice, not realizing it was the same book because the title was spelled differently.
Okay.
And one was very obviously an older edition, like library type binding on it. And you could tell it was older. It was very raw. It was about a cat that grew up on a farm and then turned feral. Yes, all of these books are about animals. There are very
Okay.
few human perspectives in these books. The animals do speak.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. But the original edition that I read was very raw and very real, especially about farm life and how in that time period animals were treated. So
Okay.
yes, there was animal abuse and death and the realities of life in a rural area for animals. The other edition that I picked up was packaged more like this. You could tell it was newer, published in the 2000s or later, was different. They went in and they edited it to make it nicer,
More
Hmm.
palatable.
which drives me up the wall. It makes me so angry.
Oh my gosh.
Because, like we were talking in our episode earlier, it's a type of censorship in my
Yeah.
mind,
It is.
and I don't like it. Like, I read the original Bambi's Children from an older version in my local library when I was in, like, grade school. They edited it in this version,
Okay.
and I don't like it. So,
Yeah, that sounds
that is my
censorship.
suggestion. Yes, that is my... If you can't find an older edition, like, I could not find an older edition of Forest World. Like, this was the only one that I could find. But if you're able to find an older edition and you are into reading the more authentic version of what he put out there, remembering the time frame he's writing in and how animals were treated in that time frame, that is my suggestion. If that is not something you can handle, I totally understand that. That is definitely a trigger for a lot of people. The newer versions are, as you said, a little more palatable. So I know this wasn't exactly a review on books, but real quick on the books, Bambi's Children, I really enjoyed it because it does. I love a sequel. I love a good sequel, and that's exactly what this is. It follows the life of the first year of those two kids, Gino and Guri or Jury. I'm not sure. Gurri. Um, and so you see Feline in there, and you see Bambi, and you go around the forest, but you also meet new characters that you fall in love with. Um, and it really does kind of follow Gino and his father's footsteps. He doesn't become the prince of the forest like Bambi does at the end of his book, but um, it's interesting, and it does follow Bambi a few times with some stuff that happens. Like there's a dog that kind of turns feral and goes and starts killing animals in the forest.
Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah, that's what I say.
Oh no.
It's very raw. It's very real. Um, and then, like I said, in Forest World, the saddest thing in here for me was the death of one of the characters. Made me cry because it could have been avoided, and the one who
So you
caused the death of the character knew it could have been avoided and felt so guilty about what
Oh.
happened. Um, and then it's actually was an interesting one too. Is there was a killer deer in the forest,
Oh my gosh.
and like he would challenge other deer and kill them just to do it. And
What a
one
dick.
of the does with right, one of the does with her twins went and hid in the gamekeeper's barn for the season to escape the killer deer. And so it's her
huh.
interacting with the animals of the farm.
Oh.
So yeah, they're really, I think they're really interesting books. I remember them differently, like I said, because I read the original versions when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They did change it. They changed it enough. I don't feel it's really authentic to his original writing. It's it's like if somebody went and made Lord of the Rings more palatable. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. They'd be like taking my books
So,
and taking the torture scenes out. Boo.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Boring.
So,
That's
We need the torture.
that's so
makes it real.
interesting because I would have never even thought about that happens with books. Like for the longest time, and it's just because I didn't know anything. It's just like, oh, they write the book. This is the one book. This is it, you know, and then they make variations of it, or they edit it, or they change it, and that's just so fascinating that there's so much they can do with the one story.
Yeah, because this was originally published. Forest World was published in 1942, and this version was published in 2013.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, yeah, big difference.
And Bambi's Children was originally published 1939, and this one was published in 2014.
Wow.
So they were trying to make it more kid friendly, I think, because of the popularity of the movie Bambi. So they were like, okay, if people come looking for his books like I did, then we need to make it so that the kids can read it. That's my best guess. I'm not happy about it, obviously, but that's my best guess as to why it happened.
Should have been like the Grimm brothers. They're like, nah, we're keeping it dirty.
Yeah, we're still the originals, man.
You're sticking with the originals, man. All toes cut off and everything. Like we're just sticking with
It
it.
pisses me off. It pisses me off. Like my mother had a bunch of classics, and I found out later that they were oh, I'm trying to think of the word for it. They were edited, but it was
Abridged.
abridged. Thank you. I knew it was an A word.
I had a feeling it just
um
hit me.
and I found out later they were abridged. So I felt like, even though I've read all of these classics, I actually
Yeah.
didn't, because I read
Yeah.
the abridged
Right.
version. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
just wrong.
How can you cut out chunks of it? That's not right.
Seriously. And I thought I was so accomplished. I'm like, oh, I've read all of the classics, and it's like I was reading some like, series that like a publisher did of all of the classics in like small little chunks. So I didn't
Yeah,
actually even read
exactly.
them. But I didn't even know for the longest time. And I'm like, oh, never mind. Yeah.
That's another piece of advice I have for you if you're an audiobook reader, and if you are anything like me, when you are getting audiobooks from wherever, make sure it says unabridged, because
Yeah.
audiobooks are often abridged for time.
Yeah.
So,
No way. I didn't know
oh
that.
yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to find an unabridged version sometimes. Like you have to hunt for it.
especially if they're like really thick books, because that means they're pushing like 36, 37 hours of just listening to a book.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I was reading the classics with my
like the
audiobooks, so they were
Zodiac
always
Academy
that way.
books were so long. Listening to them, I know most of them were over like 24 hours long to listen to, but I don't know if those were abridged or not. Let me do a quick.
You should see.
Google search.
And it's hard to find sometimes if they are abridged. You have to look in the copyright usually to find out if it was abridged or not. Usually.
Oh, interesting.
They don't announce it.
I did have to smile when you said that you cried from the book, because then earlier today you said that it takes a lot to. Were you laughing at that too? It takes a lot to make you cry, and then you said that, and I just feel more confident in my stance that this book is gonna make you cry. That we're reading for book club.
This was an animal death. That always hits harder than a human death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I actually didn't cry. I felt like crying, but I will say I didn't actually cry. I was like, oh, that's so sad. So I was exaggerating a little bit.
The Zodiac Academy ones are unabridged. It says right there, format is unabridged audiobook. But they also have a dramatized one. So it will say a performance. So if you see format performance, it is abridged. It's more so like almost acting it out. So
how do you even know what to cut? Especially with those books, annoyingly enough, every detail matters, and it also doesn't matter at the very same time.
Yeah. There's so much.
If I could go back in time and tell myself not to read a series, it'd be that one, just because there's so much, and
just so hammering in me not wanting to read these books.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Oh, I'm not planning on it.
There's definitely times when they're good and you're like, oh man, I need to keep reading. I need to keep listening. And then you're just like, what the actual fuck is this?
Right.
And you're just like, I'm done.
Right? So it gets good at about like 80%. And then at 90%, it's just like, I'm going to drag this on. And then the last little bit is like, here's a cliffhanger and you have to read the next book. And you're like...
And it's like some wild cliffhangers too, where you're just like, you can't leave it at that. You just can't leave me like that. She
pulls it out of her ass. She's... You know that meme? It's like, if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but for this circumstance, that's how I feel about being on this podcast, talking about Zodiac Academy, being like so mad about it.
You would have 3 nickels because we talked about it 3 times now. You've been on the podcast 3 times, and we talked about it every time.
We'd have a whole 15 cents.
Now I gotta keep it going.
Well, we'll wrap it up. You can find us at writingwithwitches.com, and you can email us at writingwithwitches@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Blue Sky as Writing with Witches. And we have a Discord server as well as with Writing with Witches. Sweet gravy. You can find me at all those aforementioned places as author Nicole Autumn. My website and all that good shit is linked below. Leona. Or, I'm pointing at Alex, but I mean Leona. I'm so sorry.
You're going to find me mainly on Facebook and Instagram, or my website, leonaurbanskiauthor.com, or my Substack, leonaurbanskiauthor.substack.com, which there was a February newsletter. I'm so proud of myself for cranking that out at the last minute.
I need to go see it.
I need to do mine.
And Alex, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at Alex Oriolin Design, basically anywhere .com, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. And guys, you can find all of us at Mythweaver Books.
Yes, you can.
.com or on all the social media sites, because our books will be on there for you to read and look at. And social media will be coming up soon for you to engage with.
Yep. That was our big announcement.
She said it, not us. That's the
Yep.
big announcement.
Wait, you guys haven't said anything?
No, we were kind of
No.
keeping it secret.
We were waiting.
until. So when you said it, I was like, yes, we get to say it. Yes. We're Mythweaver Books.
We can say it now.
Permission granted. Didn't know that I had that mantle.
Well, we've been kind of skirting around it, and then I was just like, man, when are we going to say something? And then we just really haven't, and then you came on and said it, so I was like, yes, now we can talk about it.
Oh, yes.
I think it was appropriate, though, for Alex to be here when we did the official announcement.
It did.
Okay,
it makes
so
sense.
I didn't ruin it.
No, it came full circle. It's nice.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So should we have a blurb about that?
We definitely should.
I think that's a good book news, like book update. That it's,
Yeah.
everyone's books are going to be available, because we have a publishing house that we will be hosting all of the books in. So you'll be able to get the order, which will be there soon after Nicole finishes editing, and then we'll be able to do pre-orders for Fire Magic, and we have incredible merch coming.
So excited.
Merge.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be great.
It's
Woo!
going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yay!
that brings us to the end of this episode, and we will be discussing. We said this episode was going to be making readers cry, but we're going to be talking about that next time. So,
Which is ironic.
My favorite thing.
yeah. So, thank you all for watching or listening to the podcast this week, and hopefully you come back next week. My words are bad. So yeah, have a great time. Bye.
Bye-bye.